If you're struggling with Lost Lace, this video might help you deal with her more easily. She's a fast boss and there's definitely some RNG involved in how the fight plays out, which can make things spiral pretty quickly if you lose control of it. In this run I take a ton of damage, drop all the way down to 1 mask of health, and still end up finishing the fight at full health. So the point here isn't playing perfectly. It's showing how this fight can be managed even when things start going wrong. Before we get into the fight, I should mention that since Lost Lace is the final boss, I'm assuming you've got most, if not all, of the upgrades available at this point. That said, Lace's attack windows and patterns are pretty consistent across the board, so the positioning and timing you see here should still apply even if your build doesn't match. Exactly. What really matters is understanding where the safe moments are and how to recover control of the fight when things start getting messy. So first, let's take a look at the setup I'm using here. So here's the setup I'm using for this fight. The core of the build is Wanderer's Crest, and the goal here is basically survivability and control along with good raw damage. For the blue tools, the important ones are Druid's Eyes and Weave Light. Those help generate silk consistently so you always have resources available during the fight. The other key piece is Injector Band, which lets you heal quickly during small openings. Lost Lace doesn't give you big safe windows, so faster recovery makes a huge difference. For yellow tools, the two I wouldn't run this without are Magnetite Dice and the Heavy Belt. They make the whole setup much more stable and forgiving. The other yellow slots are flexible. They help, but they're not really necessary to win the fight. For red tools, there aren't many great options here since Lace can actually parry a lot of them, which can end up hurting you more than helping. Tacks are still a solid option though. I also brought a Plasmium File for this run and used it to boost my health during the fight, which I definitely ended up using. And for silk skills, Pale Nails are extremely strong here and give you some really reliable damage windows. Alright, Phase 1. I'm going to go over the main attack windows, where you can safely heal, and a few things you want to avoid. Strategy and positioning are important throughout the whole fight, but it really starts here. Starting with positioning, I like to keep about this much space between us during the fight. Most of Lace's attacks cover roughly this range, and with how fast she is, being any closer than this gets really dangerous. I also try to stay around the middle of the arena as much as possible. That way you always have the option to move either direction if something unexpected happens. This next move here, when Lace kind of shuffles her feet and goes into the 3-slash combo, I recommend just staying completely out of range for this one. You can try to sneak in an attack here, but there's a good chance her move will cancel yours and you'll end up taking damage. I treat this as a pure dodge opportunity and just let the attack finish before looking for the next opening. One thing you can do here is attack during her slide. Just make sure you wait for the little pause before committing to the hit. Once you land the attack, just exit in the opposite direction while she finishes the move. That usually gives you some space and lets you reset your positioning. This move here is one of Lace's most vulnerable moments. She comes straight up out of the ground, and most of the time she'll follow it with a downward slash. When you see this, you've got a few options. You can hit her at the top of the jump, sneak in a heal, or pogo during the long pause when she lands. When she comes up and throws out the void tentacles, if you're in front of her, it's important to keep about that same half-screen distance. That spacing makes these attacks easier to avoid. This is a good example of how Lace reacts to what you're doing. I stayed in the air a little too long here, and she punished it immediately. In general, it's best to avoid any move where you can't instantly respond to what she does next. Two good things here, hitting the jump window and waiting for the slide pause, but I was off on my spacing by a hair afterward and got caught by the tentacles. This is a good heal window during her slide. If you jump high enough, you'll be completely safe. With Injector Bend speeding up the heal, you can recover and still be ready to reposition. Keep punishing the jump windows and keep avoiding the triple slash. Wanderer's Pogo is extremely strong in this fight. Once she does the laugh, that's the signal you're moving into Phase 2. The second phase starts here. Lace keeps the same moves from Phase 1, but now she adds 3 new attacks. Void Pillars coming up from the floor, Void Blobs that turn into saws on the ground, and a triple homing attack she can spam. Here I end up in the corner, which is exactly what I said to avoid earlier. The attacks get really tight here, but if you look closely there's actually a small gap between the saw blades. That gap is just enough to sneak in a heal, and with injector bend speeding it up you can grab some quick health back even though you're in a really rough spot. I take a little more damage here and slow things down. When Lace starts taking over the fight, it's best to dodge the chaos and wait for the phase 1 windows. Then just go for the attacks you're most comfortable with. This is also a good time to try to regain positioning. This is one of the new phase 2 attacks. Lace throws out these void mass blobs that turn into the saw blades on the floor. When she starts this move she's always open for at least one hit. It's a really consistent punish window for the rest of the fight. Land between the void blobs so you're safe when the saws form. After this she launches the 3 homing orbs. Just dash away, not too far though. I overcommitted here, panic jumped, and took more damage. I neglected my positioning here and got too close, so now I'm down to 1 mask. But with Druid's Eyes and Weave Light I still have a full bar of Silk. I wait for Lace to fully commit to her next attack, which lets me find a safe spot to heal instead of panicking healing right away. I switch back to playing conservative here, dodging the chaos and only striking during the safest windows. I drop low again, but the Silk tools build enough for another heal. This is the second time I've healed during her slide, showing how reliable that spot is. I go back to waiting for my moment. She throws the void blobs, giving an easy hit window, and that finishes phase 2. During the break before phase 3, I dump all my plasmium and get another 6 masses of health. The plasmium takes the damage while you build Silk and heal your normal health as the fight continues. Starting phase 3, you're introduced to the Void Wave attack. It looks pretty intense, but all you really need to do is either stick to the wall or jump over it. During phase 3, Lace keeps the same attacks from the first 2 phases, but now they come much faster. It definitely gets chaotic, but the best approach is still looking for the phase 1 attack windows since those are the lowest risk, and if you need it, you can reuse the heal spots from the earlier phases when they show up. At this point in the fight you'll see where the blue tools really shine with Wanderer's Crest. Even when you're taking damage, Druid's Eyes keeps building Silk as you land hits. That basically turns into heals on demand as long as you're getting some damage in. The void waves are easy to avoid. Just watch for the void bubbles forming on the side of the screen. That tells you where the wave will come from. After the second wave, jump off the wool and launch Pale Nails. Lace always spawns here, so this hits almost every time. That scores a knockdown, but interestingly it doesn't trigger the final phase. So just keep following the same strategy and look for your safe attack windows. Once she laughs, you'll be on to the 4th and final phase. Almost right away you'll see her final attack. The giant bubbles return, but now they cover nearly the whole screen. Just find the gap between them. It's actually very forgiving and gives you a big counterattack window. After the slam, double jump toward her landing spot for an easy pogo. From here it's all about sticking to the fundamentals, keep your spacing, punish the safe openings, and use those reliable heal spots when they come up. As long as you stay patient the fight stays very manageable. Lost Lace is a tough fight, but it's also one of the most fun fights in the game. I've done this one many times and it never really gets old. In this run I played a little sloppy at times, because I knew this tanky setup could recover from a lot of mistakes. Hopefully the positioning, kill spots, and attack windows shown here help make the fight a little easier for you. And if this helped you beat Lost Lace, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more Silksong boss fights and strategies.